do think that there's a sort of thread throughout my whole life. Everything does feel connected, although there's different seasons and different chapters. Some of them might be hard for other people to follow, but that doesn't matter. I feel my life's unfolding, and I'm walking forward into it. What I'm attempting to do here is get organized, also known as organized. But I think it's kind of like balance. You're never balanced. You're always in the act of balancing. So I'm now in the act of organizing. I'm never going to be organized, but I'm trying. You know, this stuff was all in boxes in my garage or in a storage unit. So that's why it's out here like this. I'm just starting to dig into it. That's Annie with Gretzky. My friends were like, years later, my friends were like, wait, you're not in the picture. No, I took the picture. You didn't want to be in a picture with Gretzky? Oh, shit. You know, I didn't want to be at the time. I was young. I just thought, well, my girlfriend with Gretzky's cool. What am I getting organized for? I'm getting organized to write. And what I'm writing is I'm starting with something that's sort of like a memoir without being like some heavy-handed autobiography or something. You know, I started writing when I was in third grade. I saw a thing on TV about, I stayed home from school one day. I stayed home sick from school, and I was watching TV. I was watching PBS, and I saw something about Edgar Allan Poe and The Telltale Heart. I was just so taken by it. And I was like, wait, I know my grandmother, Edgar Allan Poe. I know that name. I've seen it on my grandmother's bookshelf. So I immediately went from the TV to her bookshelf, and I pulled the book out, and then I read The Telltale Heart. And I was like, wow, how can someone convey something like that? But like, I'm picturing it. And I thought, that's just, I want to do that. I want to write stories like that, or poetry, or books, or anyway. 1998, my mom sent me this card. You are a lover of words. One day you will write a book. Dear Mike. It goes on to say a lot of things, but another beautiful thing from my mom. Every time I see this ad, I think of you. So this is my GoRock GR1. I use it for travel. I've been using it for a long time. It's got this great laptop compartment, like the best laptop compartment that I've ever experienced on a backpack or a bag. I recently decided to take the laptop out. So when I travel, I don't travel with a laptop anymore. The reason being is I'd get into a hotel room or on an airplane or whatever, and then I'd take the laptop out, I'd open it up, the email inbox would fill up, the messages would come in, I'd start scrolling the internet or social media, and 2 hours would go by, and I've been busy, I've been connected, but I really haven't done any work. Not real work, not creative work. My creative hack was no laptop in the laptop sleeve, legal pad, right? So I'd get on the airplane, get to the hotel, open the back, legal pad to a blank page. And then I'd start writing. I think this was the first thing I wrote when I decided to hack my creativity. This is called Homecoming. I am a community, a town, a family. I am it, and it is me. I thought I had to get away, to run, but really I had to return to those who know me, to those I know. Seasons pass and bring change, but still, we share this common ground. No matter where we go, here we are, where we are from. Yeah, I don't know if it's any good. I don't know. I know what it's about, but as I sort of, this is several months ago. As time goes on, I think this is about a lot more than what I thought it was about. Seems like a good place to start. Check.
Yeah. So at the end, yeah, we do that. We could feel your anxiety.
If we got time today, we'll run Working Man one time, but I'm not gonna force that one into the set either. I want the set to move as quick as possible. Yeah. Not lose anybody. If we have them at the end, then we can bust out the When we first got together, we got together just to jam. It was still COVID. And I had met Wade, and he was like, hey man, I play music. I know you play music. If you want to get together and jam, my brother plays drums. We'll find somebody to play guitar. Real casual. I come in the room, we start playing, and it was no longer casual. Immediately I was like, oh shit, this is a fucking band. Like, this is a fucking band. And then we just kept rapping. We started talking about stuff we love, like Rush and stuff. And then Paul started telling a story. And I immediately, as he started talking, I was just like, wait, what'd you just say? And he's like, oh, I just said, yeah, I remember when Wade first got back from the Air Force. And I was like, well, hold on a second. And I took my phone out and I just started tapping some words into my phone. And I was like, dude, this is a song.
One of the ways that we write songs, like we were talking earlier, is that a lot of times we'll just be standing in a room telling stories. That's what I love about the creative process of the songwriting with these guys, is that like we've got a song called Best of the Best. And we were just talking about when I got out of the military, came back to town. You know, we were out cruising around dirt roads with my wife, Jenny, and her old Chevette, and it's in the song, and he just like starts writing, and then, you know, and we were like, man, those were the best of times. And I love that process because it makes you feel like you're actually a part of it, you know, because he's taking stories from my life too, and turning them into songs, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting.
I was a big skateboarder when I was young, and I went off and went to music school. About the same time Mike got discovered skating. Kind of kindred spirits, I think. Like, you know, we met for the first time, and just kind of really hit it off, you know. I think our light bulb moment came to us at like point blank, man. The first time we all jammed, and we just kept playing and playing and playing. I remember leaving, looking at Eli, thinking that was really cool. You know, this is gonna be cool, man. It was one of those magical kind of moments, you know.
Paul and I had been in a band together. We were currently in another band together at that time. And he gave me a call as I was walking in, turning the lights on, and he was like, "Hey, man, so you want to play in another group?" I was like, "Yeah, what? Tell me more." He was like, "Yeah, you know that skateboarder, you know, Mike B?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, he wants to start a band. Are you in?" And I was just without hesitation, I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Yeah. It was kind of daunting at first because I'm the young guy in the band. Kind of grew up. I wasn't around the skateboarding. You know, I didn't skate or anything, but I knew who he was. And I'm like, I'm not in a band with this guy. So I was kind of intimidated by it at first. But that kind of broke down, immediately.
My children actually introduced me to Mike. When the Drive videos came out, they were like, man, there's this dude, he's traveling around the world, he's giving away skateboards, and he's skating in all these, burnt-out old skate parks, and you got to watch these documentaries with us. So I watched some of that, and I was like, man, this dude is fucking cool, And then found out he was moving to town. The Dandelion, Ichi Dan, called me up, and he was like, hey, Mike V's in town. He lives here now, and he wants to go mountain biking. And he was like, I ride bikes, but you ride mountain bikes a lot. Would you meet us and kind of show him around the trails and stuff? And I was like, absolutely. So that's how I met Mike, was on a bike.
I spent most of my life in the streets, conquering concrete, steel, and asphalt. Totally inanimate, unnatural stuff. That was my calling. It was my calling to do that. My calling now is into the woods, the mountains, the rivers. Being out in nature is really just about spending the time. It's kind of like a moving meditation. It's just clearing my mind and not thinking about anything other than just being in the moment. Where I live, I'm minutes from trails right here, and so I'm in the woods every day. I'm down along the river every single day. I'm always looking for an opportunity to go get on the trail and put some miles down, and that's where I want to be. These are the Sycamore trails. This is South Sycamore. This is basically my backyard. I could be down here in a couple minutes on my bike. I come here, I ruck here, I hike, I ride my bike here, mountain bike. It's Des Moines, there's no mountains, but we've got a lot of this dirt trails through the woods, single track trails. I didn't own a mountain bike until I moved here. I knew when I moved here, I knew about the trail system basically in my backyard, and I was like, I'm getting a mountain bike. Got a mountain bike, and I came out and I started riding. It was still winter, there was still some snow on it, and I was having a bit of a hard time. I didn't really know what I was doing. Early spring, I met Wade, and we went riding together, and then that was it. He took me all over, showed me all the trails, and I was totally in, man. This section here, this is called the Rock Garden, and this is probably one of the more difficult sections of the trail. Any seasoned mountain bike rider will come through here pretty easily, but when I was getting started, I couldn't really ride through here. I'd come through here with Wade, and he'd ride through it, and I'd have to get off and walk, or I'd tip over or something.
Mike's the kind of guy, when he gets something in his head that he's going to do a trick or whatever, I think he'll session that until he gets it. He hadn't been able to conquer the rock garden. He was like, we're staying here until I get it today. And I was like, let's go, man.
And I just would ride through the rock garden over and over and over, just trying to get all the way through. And the first time I made it all the way through, I came down here at the end of this part here. As I rode out of it, I was like, fuck yeah. And then the entire song, Fuck Yeah, came right into my brain. And before I got home, before I was back in my house, sitting at my desk with a pad of paper in front of me, I'd already written the entire song, every word. It just rolled right out of me. It was one of the easiest songs I've ever written.
Back in the woods, well, I'm self-propelled along the river under the spell of filtered light that flickers through the trees. A bird song, a cool evening breeze. Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! to the spell of the skyline that towers over me when I run the door, wild and free. Fuck yeah! 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 Fuck yeah!
Another memory I have is when I first got sponsored and first got into skateboarding as a sponsored skater. I got this offer to do this McDonald's commercial. I was 16, and I mean, a lot of things were happening for me. I had just gotten sponsored. I was on the cover of Thrasher magazine. I just won a big contest in California, and then I got this offer to do this McDonald's commercial, and my dad drove with me into New York City. We went to this, I don't know, it's like just a giant office building in New York City. And we go inside and there's all these kids. And there's like a cheerleader and a kid with a basketball and a girl with a baton and a kid with a baseball bat. And then I was the skateboarder. It had this jingle going. They're playing this song and they're like action, and all the kids start, the kids start spinning the basketball on his finger and he's kind of dancing in place and, batons in the air, the cheerleaders jumping and I'm just standing there holding my skateboard. And they're like, skateboarder, action, skateboarder, action, skateboarder, action. And I just picked my board up and I walked out and I walked past all the kids and I walked past the cameras and I walked past my dad. I just walked out the door. And I walked out onto the city streets and I walked across the street into this park and I sat down on this bench and I just started crying. And a couple minutes later, my dad comes walking over and he says, what's going on? And I'm like, he's gonna tell me to get back in there. He's gonna tell me how important it is that I collect myself and, cut this nonsense out and all this. And he said, what's going on, son? And I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. That's not for me. I don't want to do this. And he said, all right, let's get the hell home. It's like, man, it was so cool. It was just so righteous of him, It's like he already trusted me to have my own barometer of what was right for me. And if I didn't want to do it, then he didn't want me to do it. $10,000, who fucking cares? If it's going to upset you this much to be in that room, and that's going to, affect you so deeply and be so painful in your soul, then let's get the hell home. Let's get out of New York City and let's get home. And, commercials don't matter. Money doesn't matter. But the time with my dad mattered, And it's one of my best skateboard memories. This is me, my dad, Gordie Howe, and Phil Esposito. And my dad's the one who turned me on to hockey in the first place. So we were big New York Ranger fans. People always go, are you a Jersey Devils fan? Because I'm from Jersey, And it's like, no. I was a hockey fan before the Devils came to New Jersey. And when the Devils came to New Jersey, I went and asked my dad, I said, so Dad, are we Devils fans now? He's like, no, we're Rangers fans. It's like, we don't change teams. So I got in 2002, I played in a NHL alumni and celebrity all-star game at Staples Center. And I was on a team with Phil Esposito. And it was so cool. Me and Espo became buddies, man. It was crazy. But the way we became buddies is the coach of our team was Butch Goring. And he knew every celebrity on the bench. And obviously he knew every hockey player on the bench. The only person he didn't know was me, some skateboarder. So he's calling lines and he's going, okay, you three forwards, you two defense. Okay, switch, you guys go. You go for him, you go for him. I'm sitting on the fucking bench and I'm like, I am jacked, man. I am so ready to get on the ice and I'm just like hitting my stick and he's never acknowledging that I even exist. And so like, he goes through the lines twice and I don't get on the ice. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? And Barry Melrose is sitting next to me and he looks at me and he's like, you really want to get out there, don't you? And I go, yeah. He goes, next time he tells me to go, you go. And I was all right. He's like, Melrose. And I hopped over the boards and I took off like shot out of a cannon and I skated right up to Dino Ciccarelli and I two-handed cross-checked him at center ice. And he turned because it's a game for charity. He turned to me like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And I was like, you want to go? You want to go? I tried to fight Dino Ciccarelli in a fucking charity, celebrity, alumni, all-star game. That's how jacked up I was. Anyway, the guys on our bench fucking loved it. When I climbed back over, they're like, who the fuck are you? Are awesome. They're like, go again. So they started sending me out for, I just was like skating up and down the ice like a maniac, running into people. I was the only person playing physical. Then I scored a goal. Dave Taylor, LA King alumni, set me up with a beautiful pass. I put it past Chad Smith, celebrating, get back on the bench. And, because there was a lot of fake fights and a lot of entertainment for the people at the Staples Center. And at one point, Espo got tripped and he turned around and he got a penalty shot. But he was exhausted because he'd been on the ice for a long time. So he turns around, he looks at me, he's like, Mike, take my penalty shot. So I got to take a penalty shot for Espo. And my dad and my brother flew out for the game. And afterwards, we were walking out. And as we're walking out of Staples Center, we're in like the garage underneath Staples Center. Me and my dad are walking, and Gordie Howe and Phil Esposito are walking like towards us. My dad didn't know this yet, but I'm tight with Espo now, So I'm like, Phil. And he's like, Mike. And my dad's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, hey, can we get a photo? Me and my dad. They're like, this is your dad? And Gordie and Phil came over. They looked him in the eye and they shook his hand. My dad was like he couldn't believe it, man. Like these guys are legends upon legends. And they're just like, you're Mike's dad? Like, I don't know, like that. They thought like, I don't know what they thought, but it was a gift they gave my dad. How kind and how open and they didn't want to, it wasn't like, oh, we'll shoot a photo with this guy and then we'll just keep walking. They spent time, they stood there and they talked to us. And you can see it on my dad's face. It's a real special moment. Espo, Mr. Hockey. My dad came out to support me, but, it turned into his night. This is my dad. He just turned 79. This is obviously not him at 79. This is years ago. The thing about my dad is he's always had a sense of right and wrong. And I think he really instilled that in his kids. One of the greatest memories I have of my dad is when I was 13 or so, I wanted to get a BMX bike. And he said, we can't afford it. Can't afford it. And he's like, you know, I had a junky toy store bike for a long time. And I was like, Dad, I need a real BMX bike. I need a real BMX bike. And I was sitting on the porch on my birthday with my mom, and I was all down and out, you know, and we're just sitting there, and my dad comes riding down the street around the corner towards our house on the bike I wanted. And it was the coolest thing that ever happened to me, really. I mean, just watching my dad roll up on that bike. I didn't think I was going to get it, and it was just so. I hope I've given my kids a memory like that. You know, this is my dad and my mom with our oldest daughter Emily when she was a baby. You know, my parents got me my first skateboard. They got me that bike. They're my first sponsor. They've supported me in whatever I've done my whole life. They've always supported me. I know, not very punk rock, right?
Because we started a band. Now this excludes Eli, but we started a band in our 50s. Nobody does that. And I don't know how many more shows we're gonna play. I don't know how many more days we're gonna be doing this together. Hopefully many more. But as Paul said, when we started this band, we've had half a century to try to figure this shit out. And it really leads you to, you know, thinking about, well, I guess you could say, I've had many years to study and reflect, to contemplate and to inspect. And I don't know how much longer I will get. I don't know how much longer I will get. But I've had many years to study and reflect, to contemplate and to inspect. I don't know how much longer I will get. I don't know how much longer I will get. I don't know how much longer we will get. So let's make these things the best of the best. 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 Have a great summer. We love you guys. We'll see you this fall sometime.